Hello, my friends. Love that tune. I love that intro. Man, oh man, I never get enough of that. That means that I am live and I am here to talk to you tonight. Tonight is episode 2, my friends. We are talking about believing in the possibilities. And tonight's episode is specifically about completing the past. Yes, indeed, my friends. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight. I'm so thankful that I can be here with you because guess what? I love doing this and I love being here to help you. And I love this is just it's who I am. And I don't care who I help. I just gotta help. I gotta get myself out there. Of course, if you're watching live, let me know where you're watching from. Please. I want to know where I am in the world with you. And of course, give me some hearts, some cares, some set your notifications to all because I want you to be able to listen to me whenever I have that chance to talk. And you know I can talk. If you're following me on Twitter or on LinkedIn, by all means connect. And of course, if you're following me on YouTube, hit that notification bell, subscribe, and make sure you're ready for my next live. Feel free to ask questions, make relevant comments at any time. I'd love to introduce myself. For those of you that don't know me, I am Coach Dean Brown, father of 5, executive coach, law of attraction coach, affiliate marketer, investor, serial businessman. I empower coaches, consultants, creative business owners, and C-suite executives who struggle with a lack of results and cracking that code to become more productive while working fewer hours per day and fewer days per week so they can reconnect with their passions. Teach you how to generate more high-ticket leads, close more sales, scale that revenue, maximize personal and team results, and facilitate the enjoyment of living life to its fullest. Isn't that what we want? I am a brother to those that know me and a friend to those that don't. And I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. Tonight, we are talking about episode 2. We are talking about limiting beliefs and how to make a plan for the new year. And of course, understanding how limiting beliefs keep us from not only making that plan, but following through with that plan. And my friends, it is so important that we actually make a plan and work. So we got to plan our work and we got to work the plan. And that's all there is to it. And of course, tonight we're talking about completing the past. Remember, last night I was saying we would start tonight with 8 simple questions. These 8 simple questions are powerful. They will help you work with those 3 questions that I asked you last night. Those 3 rules that I talked about last night will come together with these 8 questions. And I'm happy to have you here. I'm happy to be sharing this with you because you know what? If you're going to create the best year ever, then you need to have an after action review. And that's something that I shared with you at the end of yesterday's episode because that allows you to make the most of closing the gap between what you got right and wrong in the past. Last year, we're talking about last year. We're at the end of this year, so we want to work towards being prepared for next year. And of course, we have to learn some lessons in order to be able to create the best year ever moving forward. We need to know what we did wrong and right last year. And of course, I'm going to help you walk through these steps with these 8 questions. Yes, I can count. And no, I don't need my fingers to count, but that's okay. Here we go, my friends. So of course, these are all designed to help you process the past year and put you in that frame of mind to create that best year ever. 2022, that's what we're talking about. And of course, there was a lot of 2s in there. And of course, 2 years now, we've been dealing with you know what. And it's been a challenge, been a nasty challenge for many, many people in many, many different ways. So I want to help as many people with this as possible. Because it got in my way too, and I wasn't happy about it, and I know you're not happy about it, and it's not going away right away either. It looks like we're going to have to live with this through Christmas. So, first of all, I want to wish everybody a very merry, amazing Christmas and a powerfully prosperous, happy New Year, because it's coming up soon. What is today? Today's the 22nd of December, my friends. Only this Saturday coming, we will be having a Christmas, and let's hope that you are able to gather together and have a great time. So, are you ready to start? You ready to get going? Here we go, my friends. Question number 1. And we're going to start at the beginning of last year with this question. How did you see your year going in the beginning of 2021? What were your plans? What were your dreams? What were your concrete goals? If you haven't done this before, you didn't have any concrete goals. If you have done this before, you did have concrete goals. You might even have done some New Year's resolutions. So, of course, it's possible that you could start feeling some, a little bit of discomfort here just by asking yourself this question. What were your plans, your dreams, and your concrete goals if you had any last year? So, of course, question number 2, right? In the last, if the last year were a movie of your life, what would the genre be? Would it be drama? Would it be romance? Would it be adventure? Would it be comedy? I try to be funny, and I imagine that most of the time I just end up looking silly, but I don't care. I'm here to be happy. I'm here to be joyous with you. So that could be a tragedy. Was what your genre was for last year, was it a tragedy? Was it something else entirely? But we're trying to get a sense of the overall pattern or theme that you went through last year. So, of course, here's some examples that I've heard over the years. I've helped a lot of people over the years, and I've spoken to many, many people that have been through many, many circumstances. And I'm going to go through a whole bunch of new ones again as we go into next year and as we finish this year. So I remember one fellow sadly lost his son. And when I asked him what the theme was for that year, understandably, he said tragedy. Now, maybe there was someone that got engaged and then married, which I've talked to people like that. And when I asked them what their theme was, their answer was romance. Now, I've spoken to other people that had misfortune after misfortune after misfortune. They were the best manifestors of the worst crap you could imagine. And they answered comedy. They even went so far as to say that was slapstick. So you get the idea. Now, we can dial this in a bit better, a bit deeper, with question 3. What were the 2 or 3 specific themes that kept recurring for you through the year last year? They could be a single word theme. It could be a phrase. It could even be a complete sentence. Whatever kept recurring for you last year, this is what we want to focus on. For me, I was heavily focused on doing some pivots and upgrading my training and building my business even better than I had in the past. And of course, I was focused on building my business. And then I had to pause everything for a month because of an unexpected cancer scare. And I spent a month in the hospital. Wasn't expecting that. Hadn't even planned on that. I'm not even 60 yet. So I certainly didn't plan on ending up in the hospital and not being able to run my business. So not only did I have to pivot, with respect to those new training concepts that I was implementing in my business in the first half of the year, but towards the end of the year, like in August, September, and since then, I've been struggling only because of getting used to having, the challenges of further surgeries and the things that go with getting sorted after being in the hospital for a month. It was a very, very slow process. I had to go through some craziness, and I had to be flexible with my business in 2 vastly different directions. One was moving forward, bam, bam, bam. The other was brakes. And let's see, let's just make sure we don't die because it was a cancer scare. Thank God I didn't have cancer and I don't have cancer. But that is the challenge we all face. I know people with cancer and I wish them the best. I would certainly hope that they want to beat that monster and live a long life. And of course, it's a different story for everybody. But maybe your theme was making difficult decisions in a challenging economy, which we certainly dealt with, or an uncertain political environment, which we certainly dealt with. I mean, we were dealing with all of that crap last year. Another one could be challenging your stories about your body, finally choosing to become fit or healthy for you and the people that you love and live with. And there's many examples as there are people. And, you don't know until you talk to the people. You don't even know for yourself until you start asking these questions. So, of course, you don't know until I tell you that this is question number 4. So I'm telling you now, this is question number 4. What did you accomplish this past year that you were the most proud of? Now, this is super important because remember what I said before. Completing the past is not just about processing the failures and disappointments. It's about acknowledging and celebrating your wins. Now, remember that. We're talking about the things that didn't go well, and we're talking about the things that went smashingly. And we want to be able to separate the two and understand the gap between them and understand the things that happened so that we can do something about the things that went wrong, learn those lessons, and we can keep doing those things that went right and still learn lessons, because maybe there's a new tool, maybe there's new software, maybe there's new automation, maybe things have changed a little bit, and you got to give yourself a little bit of a pivot, which is what I was working on at the beginning of last year. Of course, I'm not a runner, but maybe it was something as simple as running a half marathon or a 10K this last year. Can you imagine running 10 kilometers? Wow. Well, you know what? I have a friend in Brazil, and he does that several times a week. Now, he's much younger than me. I'm a little overweight. Now, of course, this is something that we talk about in this training too. I'm not about to start running because my knees are not good enough for that. And it's got nothing to do with the weight. It's got everything to do with hockey and football when I was a kid. But anyways, maybe you celebrated a milestone in your marriage last year. Maybe you completed a degree or paid off your student loans. Maybe you started a new business, or maybe you really beat the sales last year from the year before. And maybe you even had a target, a percentage target or something, or a dollar figure target, and you smashed it. Regardless of what it was, it's important to acknowledge what you accomplished positively, what you succeeded at last year as part of the gap. You want to set the gap between what you were crap at and what you slammed, whatever it was that you crushed and whatever it is that crushed you. So let's face it, this happens to all of us. Maybe you're a single mom who works hard and provides for your kids and overcomes those odds every day. I know somebody like that. And she's not just a mom, she's a grandma. Thank God she's not single. She has someone to help. But it's a lot of work raising 4 kids. I raised 5, so I know. Maybe you made the heroic decision to stand for your marriage when you really felt like quitting. If you did that, kudos to you, brother, sister. If you did that, that is awesome. Maybe you committed to sacrificing part of your morning to exercise when it felt like you really didn't have the time, but you made the time anyways. Whatever it is, there's real emotional power in just admitting what you wished others would have noticed and commended in your actions, but maybe didn't. So keep in mind, that's question 5. What did you feel that you should have been acknowledged for, but you weren't? So that's what I was talking about in these last few comments. Single mom working hard, heroic decision in your marriage. What did you accomplish that was really, really good, but nobody noticed? That's question 5. Question 6. What disappointments or regrets did you experience this past year? Now, that would not be the same as question 5. When question 5, we were talking about what you did well, but no one noticed. We're talking about what you did crap and you wish no one noticed. Now, we all have regrets. We all have disappointments. We all go through a year and look back and go, wow, man, I didn't get things done like I thought I would, or, whatever the case may be. But question 6, as someone who's a high achiever like myself, and I'm pretty sure that you have high expectations for yourself, did you reach those goals? And if you didn't, don't spank yourself, my friend, because I missed goals too. Of course I did, because I was in the hospital unexpectedly for a month. And it sucks being on your back 24/7. I didn't like that at all. I had to learn how to meditate, breathe. I shouldn't say learn. I had to improve how I meditate and adjust how I breathe and get ready to, get used to dealing with painkillers and how they changed the painkillers when they took me off the intravenous and started giving me tablets. Those painkillers gave me headaches like you wouldn't believe. Then I had to say, you know what? I'm going to live with the pain. And of course, I didn't realize all my dreams. And there were some disappointments and regrets still hanging in the air. And I'm sure the same thing happened to you. So we want to list those out, my friends. Question number 6, what disappointments or regrets did you experience in 2021? Of course, as we go forward, I'd like to share a little word about trauma, because there might have been some trauma in your life in this past year, or there's maybe some that you're dealing with currently, or that you could possibly deal with in 2022. I want you to understand, If there's something that has happened, is happening, or you expect to happen, which I hope you shouldn't do that. Let's not manifest crap like that, but you don't know. I didn't know. But, maybe you lost a marriage, maybe you lost a loved one, maybe you experienced a bad accident, or you got really sick, maybe there was a violent attack involved, maybe you lost your business. I'm sure lots of people that watch me now are in a place where they've lost their business. I'm helping a lot of people build their business right now, and they were in a place where they had to do the huge pivot because things were not working so well. Something that was absolutely catastrophic. And of course, unless you deal with that, those traumatic events can influence and even define your future in deeply unhealthy ways, my friends. We got to talk about this. We got to acknowledge this. We got to be prepared. Now, I don't want that to happen to you, my friends. I really don't. And this process can only get you so far if you've been in that place. Because if you've been in that place where you've dealt with catastrophes, get an outside resource. It's okay if you need professional help. Get counseling. As Brene Brown says, that's pure courage. And for the rest of us, listing our disappointments and processing them in this setting will be okay. But in the meantime, I just wanted to keep talking and let you know. I've got a couple people here that are making comments in different languages, so I can't help you with that. Happy to have you on the show. Happy to be talking to you, but I don't know exactly what you're saying to me, so I can't help you with this. And of course, I just want you to realize that as we move forward, we're getting close to question 7 here. What was missing from this last year as you look back? What would you say ended up not happening that you maybe wanted to happen? Consider the major areas of your life. Maybe it was strategic planning like this. Who knows? Maybe you wish you had done more of that for your business or in your life. Consider what was missing from this last year as you look back. This is question 7. Now, maybe you wish you'd saved more money. Maybe you'd wish you'd spent more time with your spouse. Maybe if you have a pet mouse, maybe you wish you had spent more time with him. Maybe you wanted to have spent more time with your kids, gone on a vacation, taken a sabbatical, gone up in the mountains, found a temple to meditate at. Maybe you wanted to read more books. We're talking about the things that are missing here, the things that were missing from the things that you expected to happen in 2021. Now go ahead and list those things out too. But here comes the last question, my friends. Question number 8. Okay. And this is the part that you really, really want to pay attention to. What were the major life lessons that you learned this past year? Think about that. As you go through questions 1 to 7, the ultimate question is, what were the major life lessons you learned in 2021? Oh, for me, it was like I learned, I learned a lot of lessons with respect to the first half when I was pivoting and I was reestablishing or recreating, I should say, the content in my business. And I was really driving forward with that. And it was just starting to flow ever so nice. Next thing you know, I'm in the hospital. So now I've got to turn around totally U-turn, get that turnaround and deal with the fact that I thought I might have cancer. I didn't really believe it. I've got too much confidence in my health and my practices for my own body, my own health, my mind, body, and spirit, that I didn't really believe that I had cancer, but the doctors did. And I proved them bastards wrong. I did indeed, because they said that bowel obstruction looked like cancer. It was in the place of cancer. It was shaped like cancer. It was in the location of my bowels for it to be cancer. Like my doctor said, if it looks like a dog and barks like a dog, it's a dog. But it wasn't a dog. It was not cancer, and I'm so thankful for that. And, it's a challenge when we get into that place. And the hospital is not a place we all want to be in, of course. We want to be at home with our loved ones. So, of course, talking about the experiences from last year now. Unless we learn from those, we can't grow. Shit happens, my friends. But you've probably heard the line from this philosopher guy named George Santayana. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Until I did this research, I didn't know who that philosopher was. I'd known that phrase for 20 years, but I didn't know it was philosopher George Santayana that had said it. But he also said, progress depends on retentiveness. That means making sure that you remember those lessons you learned and you practice them. It's like reading a really powerful book, but never putting into practice anything that you've read. What is that? That's not cool either. I mean, that's knowing and not doing. And that's not knowing, ultimately speaking. That's me that says that. I don't know anybody else that says that or has quoted that, any famous person that's quoted that. So I'll say it as a famous person. Coach Dean Brown says, if you know and don't do, you don't know. So anyways, you want to distill those lessons. What I mean by that is get them in short, relevant, concise statements that'll help you retain them, help you remember them, and make them part of who you are. Make them part of yourself. That way you can turn this learning into wisdom and use it to guide your path into the future. So this training ultimately that I'm working with here was originally authored by Michael Hyatt. And as I've been sharing this with you, I'm also sharing a lot of the stuff that he has said or taught. And he wrote down a couple of years ago, there comes a point in every experience when we're too far in to quit, but almost certain that we can't finish. The only thing we can do is keep moving forward, and eventually we'll get to the other side. That's called stick-to-itiveness, my friends. Just hang in there and don't stop. You can't win a race if you stop. You gotta keep going. You don't get to the finish line if you stop trying to get to the finish line. So there's an important lesson there for all of us to learn. And we can pull up this lesson and we can use it to keep us going whenever we're facing a challenge we think we can't get through. You can do anything. There's nothing that you can't do as long as you choose to do it and keep going. Don't overthink the outcome. Just do the next right thing. When you wake up the next day, focus on moving forward. Don't focus on quitting. Remember, we're talking about limiting beliefs here, so don't let those limiting beliefs stop you. You want to work on liberating truths that propel you. So we all got to keep learning that lesson, my friends, but you get the idea. We just want to be able to distill these experiences and make sure we don't lose them. And of course, we want to learn from them over and over again in the future. Those lessons are pure gold. Any lesson that is in your, hey, 2-time suicide survivor here, after that second attempt, I learned some crazy shit because I knew I was here for a reason. The universe wasn't going to let me go. I was alive for a reason. I have a purpose, and I'm living that purpose right here, right now, sharing this with you. This is who I am. This is what I do. It's because it's what I love to do. And if I had never gone through all that crap and learned all those lessons before then, as well as after then, I wouldn't be who I am now. So I can also share with you that other people that have done this program, what I'm talking about is learning to believe, working on the limiting beliefs, focusing on the liberating truths, using these 8 questions to focus in on that gap between the things that went wrong last year and the things that are going right next year or this year coming. It's going to bring up some profound emotions, my friend. You might face some disappointment. You might feel sad. You could even get angry. I don't know. Somebody might feel some really, really powerful excitement. Like, I'm excited about what's going to happen for me next year because I learned some crazy lessons last year and the year before and the year before. And trust me, now that I've been learning these lessons after that second attempt, I do not forget my lessons. And my bullshit meter goes to 15, where most people don't even get to 2 or 3. Of course, there could be somebody that doesn't experience any emotion at all. And that's okay too. But the important thing is just be aware of your feelings. As I was raised by my monster dad, he taught me, he beat into me, don't feel your emotions. He beat into me, be harsh, be aggressive, be a man, don't cry, real men don't cry, all that old school garbage. And it suppresses who you really are. So don't allow that to happen. But while you're going through these 8 questions, whether you're feeling emotions or not, take the time to really work through the questions. Don't just blast down an answer. Take your time to think about what that question means to you. And it's also critically important that you don't start dragging the worst of your past into the best of your future. You want to make sure that that garbage stays in the past. This is what we're talking about here. These 8 questions, the 3 rules that I shared with you yesterday, the 8 questions we're talking about today. It's all about that after action plan and using it to get better next year, right? So we're still working on the action plan. We're using the after action plan of reviewing last year to rebuild the plan for next year. We want to get into that place where we're taking action. We want to be planning our goals and working on the plan. So that's what we're doing. So yes, indeed, it's a challenge. When you start thinking about what this is, what it means to you, what it can mean to your business, to your family, to your relationships, to your children, to everybody in your life, keep in mind how serious this is. Now, I'm going to share a final thought with you before you start this exercise, and to kind of get your mindset in the place where you're starting this exercise. There's a few things I want to share with respect to how this works for you intellectually. Okay, so there's been some research done. Okay, and some researchers went ahead and they researched a whole bunch of different studies, and they subjected them to fresh eyes, objective eyes, new people. You can bring someone in that you can't find something, and boom, they find what you were looking at the whole time, right? But they were talking about education, career, romance, parenting, self-improvement, leisure, and of course, the most important part is that they found that feelings of dissatisfaction and disappointment are strongest where the chances for corrective action were the clearest. That means when you knew that you really messed up and you could have made a big impact with that opportunity, with that chance to make something different, make something positive with your life, the disappointment, the dissatisfaction is the strongest when you knew you could have made the biggest impact for yourself. They call that the opportunity principle. And it's the opposite of what you think. You'd think that kind of stuff would say, oh man, I really screwed that up. But when you take it from a personal perspective without using limiting beliefs, it naturally turns around and it leads you to corrective behavior. And you feel that regret the strongest when the opportunity for improvement is at the greatest. This is a game changer, my friends. This will make everything that you thought was going to bury you make you impossible to be buried. Of course, the key lesson from the first episode, which was yesterday, was that we have to awaken the sense of possibility before we can step into growth and improvement. Of course, we think that our disappointments are working against us. We stumble and fail, so we think we can't win. But if our greatest frustrations from the previous year were actually pointing us to our biggest wins for next year, what if disappointment was just a road sign pointing you to a personal transformation, something super powerful? And this is where the after action review can help us. Learn from that past. Positively build your future based on the lessons you've learned from that past. And remember, answer these 8 simple questions. They're powerful questions that I've asked you tonight, but answer them with a critical eye and a complete honesty to yourself, my friends. It's crucial for us to recognize that some of our greatest disappointments could lead us to our greatest possibilities for the next year. So follow this action plan. Stay in the frame of possibility. And like I said yesterday, the best time to complete it is now. So take out your pen, get started, pen and piece of paper. If you like to use a computer or Word document, go for it. But work through these 8 questions in order. Now they're in the post. So if you're watching this, you can rewatch the post, the video, or you can read the description. They are there. But secondly, answer each of them as honestly as you can. And thirdly, write down whatever comes to mind first. Same way you play Trivial Pursuit. Whatever comes to mind first, that's what you want to go with. Don't overthink it. Don't try to change your mind or change your thoughts. Just keep it raw and unfiltered. Don't rush your answers. Be honest with yourself. I've mentioned that we can't solve anything for ourselves, about ourselves, if we're not honest with ourselves. So you've got to be honest. Now, this is going to take some time. These 8 questions, depending on how deep you go and how much you really want to change yourself, you can spend up to an hour doing this, but it's worth it. An hour now to change a whole year. Come on now. We want to turn that corner. And tomorrow we are going to turn another corner, because remember, the purpose of the after action review is to complete the past and leverage it for meaningful future action. That's what we're working on here. We're remembering that past frustrations can guide us to future opportunity. So keep these points in mind. We're going to start designing that future tomorrow. Episode 3, I'm going to share a proven 7-part framework similar to SMART goals that will turn your goals into achievement. It's 7 steps, not 5. And I want to let you know that I'm here to help. If you want my personal help with this plan, just put in a new plan, with the words new plan, in the comments. I'd be more than happy to DM you and give you some help, book a call, whatever the case may be. But I'm excited for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, because guess what? 3rd time's a charm, and we're going to hit the rubber. The rubber's going to meet the road tomorrow, my friends, when you get this opportunity to connect with me on this call tomorrow night. I'm leading you down the path of success here, my friends. We're in that place where we're going to make a huge difference. And I know that it's an opportunity for you to change your business, change your life. Oh, I'm getting a little bit of a tickly throat. I better have some of my alkaline water, 9.5. Oh, that's good. So anyways, my friends, looking forward to talking with you tomorrow. Going to be here approximately the same time. Come on over and we will make the rubber meet the road. Thank you for being with me tonight, my friends. I'm very, very happy to have had you. I'm not sure who that was that commented. I can't read the language that you were sharing with me. So I wish I could. I only know English. I apologize. And I wish I knew more. But anyways, my friends, we will see you tomorrow. Much love. Paradigm Changer out.